I just had this question in my head, if today you treated as if you're leaving your house, this is the last time you step in your house, this is the last time you live with the people within the walls, behind the door, this is the last time you experience what it's like to live with them, how would you show up? I can't help but think if everybody walked into the doors of where they lived with this mentality of accepting the moment completely as it is without wanting to change a thing because this is the last time you experience life with them, without needing to know an outcome of what will be if this changes or that changes, but just trusting in the moment, accepting it for what it is, and experiencing it fully. What would life be like if we didn't go into rooms with wanting things to change and just allowing them to be? I think it would soften me up. I think we can intellectualize this. We can talk about it all that we want, but it's in doing it does change happen. But how do we do it if we don't talk about it? How do we become aware if we're unaware of how we show up in rooms? How do we know our part if we don't take a moment to reflect and introspect and observe from a third perspective, from a bird's-eye view? It's easy to think about what everyone else around us can change to make our circumstance better, but what can we change? How can we show up? What can we do? What's in our control and what's not in our control? And many of us know that we can't change anybody until they want to change, and yet subconsciously I think a lot of us feel like, or subconsciously try to make others in our life change, hoping if they change then we can change too and accept the situation we're in. But you'll be waiting your whole life. Regardless of your circumstance, show up how you want to show up, as if today was your last day. Show up as if you're leaving tomorrow and this is your last day behind those doors and those walls. Whether you have a good circumstance, whether you should or shouldn't be living in your situation, whether, everybody's got a different situation. And I think the one thing that all of us should ponder upon is, if I die tomorrow, would I regret staying? If I died tomorrow, would I wish I would have stayed, but would have so taken in what I had more? Would I wish I would have just been in the moment as it was instead of worrying about what it could be or what it should be? Accept the moment for what it is. Embrace all the good that is there. And love. Connect. Leave your imprint. And, what imprint do you want to leave behind? An imprint of love or an imprint of hate and judgment and resistance? And sometimes we think, oh, well, if this would change, I wouldn't be so resistant. Oh, if this would change, I wouldn't be so judgmental. If this would change, I would be able to relax into the moment. If, when. What if when never comes around? What if never changes? Then what? We wait, and then we just live in a loop of the same? That is kind of the definition of insanity. So what can you change today? How can you show up in the rooms you walk in? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. What am I doing to add to my own pain? It sucks because we do add to our own pain. And what I realized is when you feel something, your chest gets tight or your face flinches, or you feel that pop of anger in your body, it's trying to tell you something. And rather than justify it and say, well, this is here to protect me, I should be mad because this person did this. Yeah, it is there to signal you something, and it is there to protect you to an extent, but how much is it protecting you if you're suffering because you can't get out of that state of being and it's consuming you, where you can't even be in the moment because you're so angry and you just want them to know. You just want them to change so you don't have to be so angry. What if instead of waiting for them to change or waiting for something to change, you actually sat with that feeling? You acknowledge that feeling. You put your hand over your chest and you give it time to talk to you. So you can listen, so you can give yourself what you need that others are not giving you. So you stop suffering from the resentment and anger you carry because of what others did to you. It is justified to feel pain. It is justified to feel anger and resentment when people do something wrong and hurtful to you. But is it justified that this anger and this resentment is consuming you and causing you to suffer? Creating thought loops in your brain where you just can't think of anything else or enjoy anything in the room with you because you're just so consumed up here between your ears? Who is that hurting? Is it hurting them or is it hurting you? Every single time something comes up for me now, every single time something triggers me, I give it space. I acknowledge it. I listen to it. I sit with it. Even when my body wants to squirm, even when it wants to run away. Because to sit with it would mean I would have to face and feel a lot of pain. Our egos will trick us into staying in this state of anger and protectiveness because it does think it's protecting you from harm. But what it's doing is you harming yourself. Because to be in a state of anger or resentment is to create suffering within that no one else is experiencing except for you. You're carrying the weight of it, not them. And you don't deserve to carry the weight of it. And so when people talk about forgiveness, you really aren't forgiving for them. You're saying, you're accepting what happened. You're accepting it for what it is, not justifying it or condoning it. You're accepting it for what it is. And you're saying, I'm not going to carry this anymore because you know who it's torturing? Me. You know who it's hurting? Me. Not them. You can, yell, fight, spend energy trying to get them to see you and understand. But what is that doing when they never do? Because they're caught in their own loops. It's really never about you. It's never about me. That's where we have to take control of ourselves and our inner world. And whatever triggers you, whatever hurts you, don't give the power away by waiting for someone to apologize or waiting for someone to acknowledge what they did to hurt you. Don't give them that power because you may wait your whole life to feel better. And you deserve to feel better now. You deserve to feel free and liberated from the things that weigh you down, that make you think and think and think about the same things that have hurt you. You deserve freedom from that. And so my recommendation is, and what's helped me a lot, is whenever I feel angry and it pops up in my body somewhere, rather than just walking around angry or silently and nobody knows it, but I'm kind of sending the message, or rather than starting, saying, well, do you remember when you did this randomly? And when they're like, wait, why are you even bringing this up? Like, this happened like 5 years ago. This happened 3 years ago. I thought you're still on that? Instead of trying to get something external to make you feel better or to kind of give you that relief, what you can really do for long-term relief is you sit still. You let it take over, you process it, and you listen to what it has to say. And then you say, you know what, I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold you through this. And I got you. And you're not alone anymore. That's what's helped me. It's easy to intellectualize sitting with pain. I thought I was sitting with pain for a long time. It is easy to say, oh yeah, I know all about that. I can tell you all about that. it is way different actually doing it. And when you do it and you don't just intellectualize it's freedom just one step beyond where you're at. So I would really just recommend being with it without worrying about the outcome, just completely allowing yourself to feel it, to allow everything to move through you. This is just a message from Love You Seek, AK, rooted in love, just pondering thoughts.